So this is 6-3, Solving Inequalities. So today we're going to learn how to solve inequalities. And an inequality is basically like an equation, except there is a inequality sign, and we'll also learn how to graph them. And it isn't really different from a normal equation. So first of all, what does an inequality look like, right? We might have something like x is greater than 8. Right? That's an inequality. So inequality, instead of an equal sign, they have an x is greater than sign. So solving inequalities. On the homework, you might see something like x plus 3 is greater than 5. So there are just a few things to keep in mind when solving inequalities. So first of all, everything else is the same as when solving an equation. However, you have to keep in mind the sign, because there are 4 different types. So, just first of all, the mouth, I kind of refer as the mouth, it always opens up the biggest number. And the point is, the other part points towards the lesser number. However, if we have a line under it, that means or equal to. So that means if we have this, then x is greater than or equal to 4, which means that x can be 4. But however, if you had this, x cannot be 4, because 4 is not bigger than 4. 4 is. So this is true, this is not true. So just keep in mind, make sure you pay attention to what the sign is, because if you miss the sign, you'll mess up the equation. Another thing to keep in mind is, this is like the biggest part, when multiplying or dividing by a negative number, you have to flip the sign. For example, if we had negative x greater than or equal to 3, and we multiply negative 1 to get rid of the negative sign, right? Negative 1 times negative x, positive x, and then 3 times negative 1, negative 3. Since we multiply, we have to flip the sign. So instead of x is greater than or equal to 3, it's now less than or equal to 3. So flip the sign from this to this. Keep in mind that as we see the greater than or equal, the equal part is still there. We just flipped which side this mouth points to. Same thing, if we didn't have the equal sign, we just flip it like that. So, alright, so let's do a few practice problems. So say we had the equation x plus is greater than 7. So what is x? Video and do it on your own. This should be pretty easy. Just like an equation, we subtract both sides by 3. We get x is greater than 7 minus 3, which is 4. Right, so let's do another one. What is 2x minus 4 equals 6? Could also be pretty easy. Alright, hold up. There we go. This should also be pretty easy. It's just like solving an equation. I just forgot to add the sign. But if you solved it, you just have to alter the sign accordingly. So anyway, so if this was our equation, right? What we need to do is add 4 to both sides. 2x is greater than or equal to 10. Divide both sides by 2. You get x is greater than or equal to 5. Right? Check that, right? If we plug in 5, the equation should be true. Right? If we plug in 5, 2 times x, which is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. And 6 is equal to 6. Right? Because x is greater than or equal to 5. However, if we tried something like 0, which is not greater than or equal to 5, 2 times 0 is 0, minus 4, negative 4. Negative 4 is not greater than positive 6, right? It's not equal, it's not positive, it's not greater than or equal to positive 6, right? So this inequality is true. This is the solution to this equation, this inequality. Alright, so now let's do one where you need to multiply by. So say we had 5 minus x equal is x. Positive view. So first of all, we can see that it's minus x here. So you could do it many ways. I personally, I would but I guess redo it. I mean, the sign looks like that. Right. So first of all, what I would do is you could move the x over here, but what I want you to do is keep the x on one side, really. So, for example, we might have to do minus 5 from both sides. If x is greater than or equal to negative 10. Divided by negative 1. Negative 10 times negative 1 is positive 10. Flip the sign, you get x is less than or equal to 10. So, for example, if you chose 0, right, 5 minus 0 is 5, which is greater than negative 5. If we chose 10, 5 minus 10 is negative 5, and it's equal, right? So this is true. This is a solution to this inequality. Alright, so now let's go on to graphing. So graphing is basically the same thing, except you have to shade and choose the line. So, for example, if we had y is greater than 2x minus 3, you'd graph y equals 3, right? So it might look something like this. Then you'd have to look at the sign. So there are, as I said, 4 types of signs. So there are these, and there are also these. Actually, there's like 2. So these ones, they're not equal to. So they're represented by a dotted line. So it looks like a dotted line. However, these ones, it can be equal to that. So they're represented by a straight line with nothing. There's no in betweens. It's a solid line. They're represented by a solid line. So we see that this one doesn't have the equal sign. So its line is actually not solid. It's dotted. Where the sign is pointing. So you need to do is if it's in slope-intercept form, I found out that you can just look at where the sign is pointing and draw in that direction. For example, if it's greater than, so if y is greater than that, uh, it should be here, I think. And then if it's less than, it's here. However, the best method is to just pick a point. For example, the easiest one would be 0, 0. Right? We just see if 0, 0 works, and wherever 0, 0 is, then that is that, right? So it would look something, the graph would look something like this. We try 0, 0, and that's 0 is greater than 2 times 0 minus 3. 0 is greater than negative 3, so 0, 0 does work. So we color in this spot. Whoops, not that spot. Above the. So, yeah, that's all there is today. Make sure you look carefully at the line, and just another thing to keep in mind, x is greater than 4, x cannot be 4. However, if you have x is greater than or equal to 4, x can, so it can be this, and it cannot be this. So x is greater than 4, x cannot be 4. 4 is not greater than 4. X is greater than or equal to 4, then x can be 4. It doesn't have to be, but it can be. So 4 is greater than or equal to 4. 4 is also less than or equal to 4 because we're just looking at the equal part, right? 4 is equal to 4. So yeah, that's all there is today. Homework is posted in Google Classroom. Homework is due Friday, and test will also be on Friday. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow for 6-4, the last subunit of our course. Thank you.